Hey, so I was at work for like 10 hours straight today, and I really wasn't gonna make a video about Tron Ares, but then I started seeing all my favorite movie reviews have titles like Tron Ares crashed our hard drives, Tron Ares was awful, and Disney's new low. But like, let's calm down, y'all. I will be the first person to call out a popular movie for being bad, but then to be intellectually honest, I also need to say when an infamous movie actually has some positives. Let's be honest, we don't go to watch a Tron movie for the groundbreaking stories, okay? We go for a good time. What do you remember from the 80s movie? The visual effects, right? And it's the same thing with Tron Legacy, except maybe add the cool soundtrack in there too. Neither one of the previous movies were remembered for their stories, at least not by the mainstream media, right? Maybe I'm wrong. I wasn't born in the 80s like some of you old people, but this is my perspective of it as a youngster. So my first point is that I don't think it's fair to hold this movie to a higher standard than the other two as far as the plot is concerned. We go to a Tron movie for cool CGI and sound effects. I think Tron Ares achieved that. So if your gripe is with the plot, then you better have the same issues with the previous two movies as well, especially Tron Legacy. Because I will give the 80s movie credit, that one had a unique blend of like religious undertones with like computer technology, and I thought that was a neat blend. But Tron Legacy, come on y'all, let's be honest, there was nothing super special about that, at least plot-wise. Now, maybe you have issues with the cast. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting much in the acting department, so I was very pleased to see that most of the cast did well. This Eve chick, which cool name by the way, I see what they were doing with that, and I like that a lot, the naming of the character Eve. But the actress was the only one that I could say was cast poorly. She can't run, but there are a lot of physical scenes, and her facial expressions just can't capture the emotions that the character is supposed to be feeling. But Jared Leto, I think, did fine. I'm not saying he's a good actor, but his inhuman tendencies worked well for him in this role. So Ares is like an AI, right? He's not supposed to feel like a human. And I'm sorry if this is an insult to Jared Leto, but his oddness kind of adds to the believability that he's not a real person in this movie. Lastly, I want to mention that chick from The Acolyte. I think she did good, but I think the cinematography really helped her out. So Athena is supposed to be this strong and dangerous force, right? But when you look at the actress, you're not intimidated in the slightest unless you're afraid that she'll cancel you. The videographers and writers, or whoever made these decisions, really helped with her presence. So what they did was they added a lot of like up-angle shots that made her look more imposing. And then when she walked, her steps sounded heavy. These little effects trick your brain into thinking that her attacks carry weight, and it was effective for the story. Except in this one part when she's running, and they definitely should have gotten a stunt double who can actually run. Other than that scene, Athena felt like a real threat, so I mean, kudos to her. Circling back to the plot, I think this movie introduced a ton of interesting concepts and ideas and then never did anything with them. So what are AI Tron characters physically made of in the real world? Where's the ISO girl from Legacy? What are the global implications of 3D printing food? Why do I learn about the main character from an info dump monologue? Why does Ares suddenly want to be human? None of these questions are answered, by the way, or even attempted to be answered. Sure, it's not the most solid script, but it's not woke, and I see the attempt they made with this movie. Maybe I'm biased, but I love the concept of Tron, so I feel like this one is only slightly below Legacy. In summary, this flawed but charming movie felt like an episode in the Tron universe, and I hope it does well enough to get another episode. Lastly, my favorite character in this universe is Tron himself, and I'm mad that he's the side character in the first two movies and completely absent in this one. Like, what's up with that? He's a computer program. Just recast him and say that's why he looks different because it's a different server or whatever. Then again, maybe I don't want Disney infecting the characters that I like.